Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Shermaine, aka Termigan, is coming at y'all with some Titanfall today. Your boy Phil in the Future and I was playing last night. It was a lot of fun, you know. We did it big. And what I wanted to talk about in this video is the grappling hook in Titanfall 2, and more specifically, what it means to Titanfall 2, how it will affect Titanfall 2. And I want people to keep in mind that there's going to be two distinct implementations of the grappling hook in Titanfall 2, which I will get to later, but people need to be aware of this. So when the news first dropped about a grappling hook being in Titanfall 2 via the leak, I really didn't care. It had no impact on me. It didn't matter to me. It's one of those, I don't care if it's in the game or if it's not in the game. And the reason why is it's unnecessary. A grappling hook is unnecessary in Titanfall because you can get to anywhere you want to get to without the need of a grappling hook. If you needed one, it probably would have been in the first game. And I was thinking to myself at first that this is probably going to be catered to new players who aren't necessarily the most comfortable or haven't mastered getting around maps and wall running in general. So, you know, they're going to use that a lot, and you know, I just really didn't care for it. It didn't matter to me at all. But the more and more that I sat and I thought about it, I'm optimistic about the grappling hook, because I feel like it's going to add a tool to the sandbox of combat. Now, the two distinct implementations that I was talking about earlier is the grappling hook going to be a universal ability, or will it be another pilot ability? Those are two very, very, very different implementations, and here's the reason why. If anything is a universal ability, a universal tool that every single player has, now the game has to be designed completely and entirely incorporating that in its design as a whole. If it's a pilot ability, there's only a very small amount that you need to tweak and alter to implement it in the most correct way. You know, a grappling hook being a universal ability is something that changes the entire game design. Whereas a grappling hook as a pilot ability, all it it has to be designed with all the other pilot abilities in mind. You see what I'm saying? If we have a grappling hook as a universal ability, then map design is going to change. The maps are already bigger from what we know from the leaks. So that means that almost leads me to believe that the grappling hook will be a universal ability. I don't really know yet. I haven't decided that in my mind. But I want you all to think on this. There's two very, very different ideas here. The grappling hook as a universal ability that every single player has, or the grappling hook as a pilot ability. Simple. You know, it's there, but you have to select it. So, taking into account that if the grappling hook is a universal ability, I want to talk about how it will affect the player. It's going to provide a lot of utility, as well as another tool for the sandbox of combat, which I talked about. In most shooters, the sandbox is relatively small. There's not a whole lot going on. It's just point and shoot, and that's pretty much it. Whereas other games like Halo, you have your gun, your weapon skill, your mobility skill, i.e. strafing, your grenades, and your melee. And, you know, power weapon usage as well, which I guess you could, you know, categorize that as you know, weapon skill. You know, same thing with Battlefield, really. You know, you have your standard weapon skill, but you also have your vehicle skills, and the amount of vehicles in the game is huge, and you have to be relatively competent with each one of them. You know, of course, if you're playing Conquest, that is, to be able to be worth the damn. Or you better sit back, get into a gunner spot, and let someone else drive. You understand what I'm saying? So if this is a universal ability, now I think, you know what, this could actually benefit the game, because great players, good players, are going to maximize the grappling hook. Not only to get from one spot to another, you know, something that I wanted to get footage for, which is the reason why Phil and I decided, or, you know, I invited him, I asked him to get on Titanfall with me, is to get into custom matches, because I want you all to look at this real quick. These two maps, Nexus and Rise. In Nexus, it takes like a year to get to the first spot to wall run to, if you're running straight, that is, and you can't even chain it anywhere because everything's so far. Now with the grappling hook, you could wall run onto that first thing, or you can shoot the grappling hook, get you to that first spot, and then boom, now you're in the city. It's that much quicker. You know, God, I hope Titanfall 2 doesn't have beginnings like that, man. Because those maps really suck to begin, to start off with. And the thing with Rise as well, man, the walls are high as hell off the ground. And the only way to get there is to usually use a zip line, which I'll talk about in a little bit, a zip line, or you already have to be on top, you know, on inside of the building to jump out of a window or on top of a Titan or something like that. There are still surfaces that you can wall run off of, but if you notice, on Rise specifically, the walls come straight down and then hit a slant that cannot be, you know, you cannot get on those at all. So there's a significant gap between the wall that's at the very bottom, then there's the slant that you cannot touch pretty much, and then there's the wall. It'll be so helpful for a map like that to be able to throw that grappling hook out and then immediately start wall running and you start flying all over the map. So also, let's say you're in a gunfight, you can throw the grappling hook, probably throw it behind the guy, or the player I should say, then you'll fly behind him and then you can kill him, outplaying him. You know, it's something that we have to game plan now. It's another tool that you have to take advantage of. That the good players will maximize the efficiency of the grappling hook and the weaker players will not. They will not use it as a tool to aid them in combat, to aid them in wall running, to aid them in mobility, to aid them in this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? There's another part of the leak was saying that you can use it to get in your Titan. And believe me, everyone knows who's a Titanfall player how much it sucks ass to call your Titan and it not land anywhere near where you originally wanted. So maybe you're a little bit exposed. You could throw that grappling hook, hopefully, and then bring yourself close to your Titan, get in your Titan. You know what I mean? So I was really a little bit optimistic when I started to sit back and think of how the grappling hook could really benefit the game and how a positive addition to the game it can be, and I think it will be. Of course, like I said earlier, this is taken into account if the grappling hook is a universal ability, but even if not, that's still all available if you choose it as a pilot ability. Now, how it will affect map design, if it's a pilot ability, I don't think much will change. But if it is a universal ability, I expect to see a lot more surfaces to run on. I mean, that's kind of in general, but I think it will have a slight effect, I should say, on map design if it is a universal ability. I think we'll see a lot more levels and a lot more surfaces on top of other surfaces, so that you can throw that grappling hook and start, creating your own path. Another thing that I just want to reemphasize, everyone, I really just want to reemphasize, is that there's two very distinct implementations of this grappling hook. If it's a universal ability or if it's a pilot ability. Just keep that in mind. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how the grappling hook is going to come along. And I know it's going to be shown off at the fucking, at the E3 reveal or whatever, the worldwide reveal. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think about a grappling hook as an addition to Titanfall 2. At first, I really didn't care about it. I thought it was unnecessary. But the more and more that I thought about it, I said, you know what, this could actually be a positive addition to the game. And I'm curious to see what the extents are for the grappling hook. And one thing that I didn't talk about was the zip lines, which I'll write a caption about it. I think because of the grappling hook, the zip lines and the grappling hook serve the same functions. So with a grappling hook, there's absolutely no need for zip lines anymore. But that's going to do it for me, you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Charmaine, and I'm out. Peace. Have a good day.